The Packers have played their 4 quarters. Now it's time for the 5th quarter.
Welcome back to another Monday night of Packer Conversation. Well, that was weird. Packers 29, Vikings 29. They go overtime. It was a game both teams fought awfully hard to win. Packers through the first 2, almost 3 full quarters, I thought were the better team on the field at Lambeau on the second warmest September afternoon ever in that building. And then the Vikings certainly looked like they wanted to win it over the final period in particular, and even maybe in overtime. But both teams found ways to lose this game by missing some kicks. Mason from 52 at the gun, and the late Daniel Carlson of Minnesota, 2 in OT, including 35 at the gun. Yes? No, they didn't kill him. But they did cut him. But they cut him today. The rookie kicker.
Rubbed out their kicker after the game?
They rubbed him out after 2 games.
Wow, that is cutthroat in Minnesota.
1 for 4, lifetime for Daniel Carlson.
They do not tolerate missed field goals.
No. But there were a billion things that went on in that game yesterday, and help talk it through. Matt Z back with us. Hello, Matthew.
Hello. So, quick in-stadium house poll by show of hands. Who thinks NFL games should end in a tie? For our radio listeners...
Am I the only one?
For our radio listeners, let the record show, nobody thinks games should end in a tie. Nobody.
If you can't win the damn game, then you go for then it's a tie. Ties have been here since the Packers went 0-0 against the Decatur Staleys back in 21.
This isn't T-ball. We don't all get participation awards. This is the NFL.
The Major Leagues had an all-star game end in a tie, if I'm not mistaken. Which
that's an all-star game.
Whatever. It determined the World Series from that point forward. But nonetheless.
Play till somebody wins.
I'm fine with a tie.
Yeah.
I really am.
Play till somebody wins.
You know I'm old school.
I know.
All right.
People pay a lot of money to go to games to see a winner and a loser.
They saw 70 minutes of pretty
tie.
Entertaining football yesterday afternoon, in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers survived with his bum knee. He had it wrapped up. He had a little brace on it, but he was running around a little bit, running for first downs, for goodness sakes, in and out of the pocket, making some things happen.
Except for in overtime?
Except for in overtime, when he kind of just coughed up the ball, and that's what I'm saying. There were a million little things in that game, and not just the big things. And you know what the biggest thing was? Everybody talking about Clay Matthews' tackle on Kirk Cousins after he released the football. We're going to get to more of that in a minute. We're going to hear from Clay. We're going to hear from even Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer, and we're going to hear what the NFL said today about that play. You are not going to believe it, Packer fans, but they're siding with the Zebras. They're protecting the shield.
Yeah.
Sorry, Clay. Unbelievable. But what a ball game.
Another piece of BS at Lambeau Field yesterday was that call on Clay Matthews. That was terrible.
Vikings are saying the same about Eric Kendricks on Aaron Rodgers. And it got so silly, Mike Daniels tried to do the belly bump to hit Cousins.
Right.
For fear of getting a flag, and he never did release the ball. The guys in the locker room have no idea how to play defense anymore. Not just tackle, but how to play pass defense. You saw Jimmy Graham's arms get taken off on that go route. You saw Kentrell Bryce dive to avoid a collision, which would have been flagged on Thielen's game-tying score. Well, they needed the 2, but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
They're just not playing the way they should be playing, in my opinion, because I know the NFL's got the spirit right. We want to protect players. We want to see them walk and talk. We don't want them committing suicide and find they have CTE 20 years down the road. I get all that. You got to protect the highest-paid players in the game. I get all that. But at the expense of playing football.
Right.
Football.
You mentioned Mike Daniels in the belly bump, being afraid to hit Cousins, not sure if he got rid of the ball. What if quarterbacks play in those big sumo fat suits?
Why not?
So you can hit those guys, and when they hit the ground, they just roll around and they're safe.
Swear to God, the competition committee is going to take up...
Why not?
Red ribbons to tuck in their belt and just pull it out, and you're down.
Flag
or...
football?
How about skirts? Why not? Why not? Crazy game.
Who's got the best legs in the NFL?
As disappointed as everyone is, they are still 1-0-1.
Right.
And they're looking pretty good in the division with the first road trip coming to D.C. Glad you're here with us tonight. We got great stuff to give away. We're sending somebody to the pro shop from our friends at Robinson's, who are also going to be here for our hot and cold plays as well. My new Era Packer hat, and I got the first edition of the 50 greatest Packer players in Green Bay Packer history, written by one Robert Cohen, a celebrated author, an outstanding book that we'll be giving away to someone in the audience here tonight. And we're going to visit with the big fella, Justin McCray, in the house. Already meeting with fans. We'll bring him on board in just a couple of minutes. All right. Let's go to the locker rooms and hear what the boys had to say about that one yesterday. And Mike McCarthy is tied in knots.
Hard-fought football game by both teams, obviously. We're disappointed in the outcome. Had a number of opportunities to come away with the win, but the tie is, as they say, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Anybody have their sister handy here tonight? I don't know. Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer, same kind of comments on a roller coaster stalemate.
We can play a lot better than we did defensively today. We turned a couple guys loose on the sideline when we took our eyes off the receivers and started looking back at the quarterback. I thought we fought our rear ends off, come back. It's disappointing when you got an opportunity to win a football game there at the end and come up with a tie. It's better than a loss, obviously.
Obviously.
By a half?
By half.
Yeah.
Yeah, by half.
Still
at
feels
least.
like a loss, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, if you're going to be a Debbie Downer, yes. Yes. It wasn't a loss.
Yes, technically not a loss.
It wasn't a loss, so let's quit thinking it was a loss.
Yeah.
It wasn't a loss.
We'll see at the end of the year if that makes a difference.
Hey, it paid off. Last time they tied those goofballs from Minneapolis, got them a division title with a win on the final game at 8-7-1.
And I'll still say no.
And they're not
going
to finish 8-7-1 this year. All right. Aaron Rodgers, as I said, made it through, but he spoke of both his left knee and the final result.
It doesn't feel great. It's nice not to have a loss on the record right now, but disappointing. We found a lot of ways to give that one away. After last week, where we're on the other side, where we had the momentum and found a way to win a game, we had a ton of chances.
Hey, Justin.
Disappointed the way it finished.
Yeah, very disappointed at how that finished. The overtime possession, fumble on the short yardage play, and then the sack forced him out of what could have been, would have been a Mason Crosby game winner. But Kirk Cousins, his counterpart, oh boy, put up 425 and 4, and it still wasn't enough.
I am tired. I don't know what to feel after a tie. Unique place to be. Proud of the way that the whole team, when I say the team, the coaching staff, players, support staff, the way everybody stayed in and fought. There were times when we felt like we should have won it. There were times when the Packers feel like they should have won it. It was a great game, and unfortunately, we didn't get the win.
Well, part of the reason the Packers did not win, Davante Adams, who scored the only offensive TD, says it was the only successful trip among 5 in the red zone.
You got to finish. I said it early on in the game. Came out, it was 20-7 at that point. We came off with no points, and I just had a weird feeling because I don't like getting that. I don't like getting comfortable. So we gotta just pedal to the metal.
They tried to put the pedal to the metal after the ha-ha pick, going for shots in the end zone. I know it only took 19 seconds off, and I know McCarthy got a lot of grief for that. Yeah. But they needed touchdowns. They needed touchdowns all day long and just couldn't get them.
You can't fault a team for going for the jugular and just trying to put it away. It's not until hindsight kicks in where you're like, it would have been nice if we burned timeouts, but that's not how it unfolded anyway.
No, it isn't how it unfolded. I'm siding with the coach on that one. But in the fourth quarter, Minnesota hit 2 bombs from outside the red zone, 75-22. Josh Jackson says the secondary couldn't finish either.
The main thing we had to do is just, focus and get the job done. We had an opportunity to get some stops, so we had to be able to, get them.
Second week in a row, they had to come up with not 1 but 2 stops when they thought they had the game won.
Clearly 2 best offenses in the division. Yes. I mean, it's Packers, Vikings, flip-flop, either one. 2 most explosive offenses. It's not the Bears or Lions.
The 2 best defenses in the division out of the game.
Yeah, they've had tough tests both weeks.
All right. Well, they did come up with 2 interceptions, but only 1 counted. Clay got flagged for taking down Cousins to wipe out Jair Alexander's potential game clincher. Second week in a row for Clay. The Bears game, he says, is on me. But this one?
That's unbelievable. So, and the worst part is, we'll probably send it in. And you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, they'll find fault on me. Because they're going to agree with the refs. So, I don't know. It's just a difficult call to call. And, I mean, you see how it changed the game. I know there's an emphasis on protecting quarterbacks, but He's gotten out of control here. I don't know what else to do.
I don't know what else he can do either. You know, even Zimmer, the vice coach, is miffed about how quarterbacks can get hit these days.
You got a target area of about the size of a strike zone, and then you can't fall on top of them, and you can't hit them in the knees, you can't hit them low, you can't hit them in the head, so you have to hit them in a strike zone, and then you can't fall on them. So, you know, it's almost, you know, what do you want us to do?
I like what he says about you've got this strike zone, like a strike zone in baseball.
Well,
making
that was
comparison.
a fastball right
Sure.
in the strike zone for Matthews.
Here's the problem. Just like in baseball, the strike zone is never the same from game to game, and it changes during the game.
From Tony Corrente to Ron Silva to whoever else is
Every
wearing
rep
the white hat.
is going to have an interpretation of where and where you can't hit.
Tony Corrente was asked about the call by the pool reporter, my buddy Rob Demoski of Cover 2 and ESPN, and his explanation was that this was a case of Matthews lifting and driving the quarterback to the ground. All right? My problem with that is you've got to see what you see, don't see what you think you see, or don't see what you think these big pushes towards player safety is telling you to see.
Right.
It was a bang-bang play, and I know we all had the luxury of watching it in slow motion, but if you do watch it, Cousins is airborne when that ball's released,
Right.
and the ball's away before Matthews gets him. Instantaneous, and I don't think there was anything punishing about it at all. He tried to brace the fall, tried to roll away so he wouldn't bring the force of his weight onto the QB when he was on the ground. Not good enough to satisfy Corrente yesterday, not good enough to satisfy the NFL today. For they came out and backed the official. Matthews' play was a penalty, according to the NFL. And in fact, folks, they're going to use that play and send it to all 32 teams today to teach them how not to hit a quarterback. Isn't this unbelievable? Mike McCarthy said Matthews did exactly what we coached them to do, but now the NFL is telling the other teams this is how it is not to be done.
Yeah.
What is a team and a player to do?
And to the point of it's different from game to game, quarter to quarter, the Patriots-Jaguars featured an exact same hit on Tom Brady, and it wasn't flagged.
I know.
It wasn't flagged. So it's impossible with humans running things to be flawless. I get it.
But here's what the league says. The technique of grabbing the passer from behind the leg or legs, scooping and pulling in an upward motion is a foul. And that's what they say Matthews did.
He didn't.
I tend to disagree. All right. Well, it came down to missed kicks. Mason Crosby from 52 on the final snap of regulation, and poor Daniel Carlson pushed too wide right in overtime. Last snap of the game missed from 35. So, after all that missing, what does a tie feel like? Mason.
It's gross. I don't like, obviously, losing. Ties just weird. You just don't get them a lot. It's a weird feeling. Trying to process through kind of how it all went.
It all went, that's for sure, and it went bye-bye for Mr. Carlson. As I said, Vikings released him today, signed former Cowboy kicker Dan Bailey.
Easy for the Vikings to cut him, not only because he missed all those kicks.
Well, that's what Zimmer was asked.
But
it was funny today.
Carlson came out after the game and said he missed that final kick because he has no confidence in himself.
If you watch the very first one, it was from 48. It was so wide right that the ball boy who's standing underneath the goalpost to kind of collect the ball when it hits the net, he's sprinting to the corner of the end zone to catch that ball. It was so far wide right. He was a mess.
If your kicker has no confidence in himself, you no longer have a job in this league.
How about calling Giorgio Tavecchio?
Right.
He might be, But anyway, poor Daniel Carlson. They traded up 2 draft choices to pick him in the 5th round out of Auburn. Ouch, ouch, ouch. All right. Well, there was one nice highlight, though. How about Jerry Kramer getting his Hall of Fame ring and his name on the Lambeau Ring of Honor at intermission?
A wonderful moment. The whole process was a wonderful event for me is the best way to describe it. And special linemen don't do those kind of things. Rarely do they do those kind of things. It was a wonderful day.
It was a wonderful day for a wonderful man. He was my neighbor growing up, just down the road, a couple blocks over. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Jerry
Got any
Kramer,
good stories?
Maybe. But we're going from a Pro Football Hall of Fame guard to the starting right guard of the 2018 Green Bay Packers. Justin McCray's coming on board in a minute. We are live from the Stadium View on Holmgren Way. We welcome our listeners in Wausau and Sheboygan and viewing company-wide on the websites. What do we got going on at the View now that the boys are heading the road?
Always a great time here at the Stadium View on Mondays. It's double bubble all day and night. Tuesday, the acoustic band Scuba Duo is playing from 6 to 9, and yes, they will be underwater.
All right.
It's an amazing show.
It's a great show.
What a show.
All right.
40-cent wings, 7 to 11, every Monday
Wow.
through Thursday. Buffalo Lime is the chef's choice of sauce this week. Thursdays, DJ Trivia from 5 to 6:30. Wednesday, they got Singo, musical bingo. Why would you ever leave the stadium
I
view?
don't know why. You can sleep here.
Sleep
Why
in the
not?
back
Yeah,
room. They got the banquet halls.
The cots back there. Bring them on. All right. When we come back, Justin McCray joins us live from the View. Fifth quarter returns right after this. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Pleasure to bring this guy back. He is one of the really, really good stories on the 100th season Green Bay Packer football team. This has been 5 years in the making for this kid out of Miami by way of Central Florida. He tried with the Titans, didn't work out. Went to was doing something or other for another year and a half. Tried arena ball. Packers finally gave him a call after his big brother Jordan. Big brother? Twin brother Jordan told him, hey, this might be a nice place to come up and play. And he made the most of it. Got onto the field in emergency fashion last year and made 8 starts at 3 positions. Came back this year. A little refined in more ways than one. Won the starting right guard job, and he is a big part of this Packer offensive line. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Justin McCray to the fifth quarter.
Woo!
Jay Mack, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Did you find somebody to kiss yesterday after that thing?
That was a
tough day. Stay real tight.
Definitely a tough one. You don't never go out to a game hoping for a tie.
I understand.
So, I think that's the only good thing is it wasn't a loss, but we definitely felt like we made enough, did enough things to win, and we just got to close out games better.
Do you think games should end in ties?
No.
Okay, good.
No, I don't think so.
Am I the only one?
Yes, you are the only one.
I'm not a big fan of 10-minute overtimes because the Vikes won the toss and even a marginal possession. Granted, you got to get them off the field, but it was a 2-1 swing. And I think with this 10, that went by fast, man.
Yeah. That it definitely. I said the last 2 minutes of the game and the last 10 minutes of overtime felt like it was longer than the game to me, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. It was just seemed like it was dragging, but that's just from my perspective.
I can understand. You're humping 300 pounds around an 86-degree heat for 3 hours plus. Did you tip the scales after the game? How much did you lose?
I might have lost 8 or 9 pounds.
8 or 9 pounds?
Yeah.
Wow. You got to market that on television.
Is that a thank you to Weight Watchers or just?
Yeah, lose 8 pounds in one day.
No, I'm just extreme sweater, heavy sweater.
No kidding. No kidding.
So the end of that game in overtime, Carlson misses the kick. The clock goes to 0. What is your emotion at that point on the sidelines? I mean, what are you feeling walking off the field?
Sort of like what happened, but it was I was talking to Lane earlier today. We were watching the film, and this is the only time you see a missed field goal at the end of a game and see nobody celebrating.
Right?
Very good.
Everybody's just walking off the field. So it's sort of I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it honestly.
But you were right, Justin. You guys had more than ample opportunity to finish the deal.
Yeah. We just need to close better. I mean, we put ourselves in position to win the game. We just got to finish it off.
All kinds of things. You thought Matthews' penalty was bad? Lane Taylor's hold. McCarthy said that one had him even more upset.
Yeah, that was awful.
On the Jimmy Graham touchdown?
Phantom call.
Yeah. I guess just a little flag happy, I guess.
It's a subjective game for those guys. You understand they have a job to do, but how frustrating can it get when you're seeing this happen? Taking points off the board, costing games.
Yeah, like you said, they have a job to do as well too. So it's sort of you'd hope they're just trying to do the job to the best of their ability, but it is unfortunate when things like that happen.
And missed calls are nothing new. I mean, you've been playing football the majority of your life. That happens.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, it's a part of the game. It's as much a part of the game as a fumble, as a missed tackle, as everything else. So you do have to learn to live with it. But it's hard living.
Definitely so.
Red zone. Other than that, I mean, there was the penalty. There were some other things that happened, and you guys were settling for field goals. And granted, your defense really, I thought, played outstanding against the Minnesota Vikings through the first good portion of that ball game. But you just kind of got the sense.
Yeah,
you got to put the foot down.
Yeah, it's when we get in the red zone, it's always like I said, it's always a goal, to get in the end zone. I mean, field goals are points as well, but our goal as an offense is to put the ball in the end zone, and we just need to do more of it.
How'd you feel about the running game?
I felt like we were running the ball pretty well. Jamal and Ty were, reading blocks well, hitting their aiming points, and I think we were getting good movement off the line.
But more importantly, what was the mindset of you guys up front, knowing you've got, I'm not going to say a one-legged guy back there, but an obviously different Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. You didn't see him all week at practice. What'd you think when you saw him running around a little bit Saturday, and what was your collective plan to protect him?
Every week, our job is, to create lanes and to keep 12 upright, and seeing him run around a little bit obviously wasn't surprising to us. Just knowing the kind of guy that Aaron is, if he's out there, he's going to play to the best of his ability. If he has to fight through some pain, he's going to fight through it. And seeing him run around and make plays wasn't a surprise, but we just knew there's definitely extra initiative this week, to keep him clean.
I'm not going to say this is remember the Titans type of motivational stuff, but I mean that gets you fired up when he is making the money he's making. He's not right, and he's out there doing everything he can.
Yeah, it's just it definitely makes us play harder just because after all the things he's done, the money he makes and all those things, he still plays hard like it's his last snap, and it makes us want to do the same for him.
And I thought you guys held up pretty well. Vikings are awfully good on defense. That front. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, they. I think someone asked me earlier this week. They have a great scheme and they have great players, and whenever you put those two things together, you're probably going to be a pretty good defense.
They were number one in yards allowed, number one in points allowed last year. They've got, I think, 4 number 1 picks, 5 Pro Bowlers. That is probably the best across-the-board defense you're going to see this year. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And you're going to see him again this year.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You mentioned the Vikings defense and the scheme that they run. For you as a lineman, what does that defense present to you as the biggest challenge for you guys up front?
A lot of the times they can make the same sort of front look exactly the same but do different things out of it. So it's just being fundamentally sound in the things that we need to do or whatever the play calls for, and just the individual talent at every position. Inside they have great players. Off the edge they have great players. Back end they have great players, and their linebackers are good as well.
Did they do anything up front yesterday you guys weren't prepared for that maybe caught you by surprise, or was it kind of things you were expecting?
Our coaches put us in great positions by throughout the week, just looking at film and things that they think that they might attack us with. So I think we're pretty prepared for most of the
things. Do you feel like you're getting attacked? You're the new kid on the block, J-Mac.
Not really, but I feel like obviously with the guys that we have on our line, with Dave, Lane, Corey, and Brian, I'm obviously the one with the least amount of starts by far. So I go into games knowing that might be a focal point for a team, but I just go out there every day and try to do my job.
I think that's fascinating though too. It's the game within the game. Everything happens so fast. You're seeing fronts and they're doing different things off those fronts. You're trying to communicate the checks and get the line calls correct and the blocking scheme correct for the play that's called. This has got to be a massive undertaking in 3 seconds.
Yeah, but it is a lot. But the guys we have back there, like Corey and Aaron, directing us and what we need to do, they're pretty efficient in it. Hardly ever are we at the last minute.
Right. And I heard something from James Campen, your coach, this summer, talking about a lot more freedom is given not just to Corey to make declarations and calls, but all of you guys are yipping and yapping up the line just to make sure everything's copacetic before the snap.
If we see something that we think he should know about that Corey may not see, we definitely shouting at him and letting him. But majority of the time, Corey has a really good eye for those things.
Yeah,
so
he does.
Anything that we've seen, he's probably already taken into account.
All right.
Is that something that fuels you on the offensive line, kind of being the young guys? You mentioned not as many stripes as the other guys. That hey, you want to test me? Come at me. I'll rise to this challenge.
Definitely, just because the guys that I'm playing next to are really good, have been playing a lot of football, a lot of good football for a long time. And I'm just trying to do the same things that they're doing, as far as their career-wise and longevity, and just being respected in the league as a good player.
Just how raw did you feel thrown into the fire last year? I mean, you only had a couple of starts at guard, a couple of tackle. You're all over the place, filling in week to week. It had to be just a blur.
Yeah, after a while, the first couple was like, wow, I'm really, really out here. But after a while, after talking with coaches and then especially Jari being out there with me, I got comfortable pretty fast.
He was kind of like your guardian angel, wasn't he, last year? He
Yeah.
took you under his wing, and I love Jari Evans, and I understand why the Packers, he's getting up there in age and all that sort of thing, but I talked to you during camp, and you miss him. I mean, he meant an awful lot to you.
No, Jari was when he came in, he was one of the first guys I sort of gravitated to. We drove over to practice from the facility to the Hudson almost every day with Jari, and just him being able to tell me the things that worked for him and what he did when he was a young player was able to, and it sort of just gave me like a little confidence in what I was doing.
Did you keep in touch when you started getting #1 reps in camp and then earning that job?
Yeah, I still talk to Jari today. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, well, tell him hello because I really liked him when he was in there. Good locker room guy.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Outstanding locker room guy. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, more with Justin McCray on how he went from a role player to a starter in more ways than one. Don't go away. The fifth quarter returns to the Stadium View right after this timeout. All right, welcome back. Joe Thomas, one of the great right tackles of all time, who had a fantastic career in Cleveland. Here's what he said today. NFL needs to immediately enact booth review on all these quarterback unnecessary roughness penalties. It's significantly changing the outcome of many games. Referees have continually shown they cannot call this rule by the book at game speed and need video review to help.
Thank you, Joe
All
Thomas.
Right. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. What's a couple of more minutes in the sun at Lambeau?
Yes.
I'll take it. You were all gooped up with 50 SPF, weren't you?
Justin McCray, what did you think of Clay's hit?
I feel the same way as Clay does. I think there's nothing malicious about the hit. I mean, we are playing football at the end of the day, so I think it was a clean hit.
Another anonymous tweet.
It's a man's game.
The NFL has outlawed sacks before special teams. Unbelievable. All right. Hey, Justin McCray, our guest tonight. Happy to have him on board, but we got some games to play ourselves. The hot and cold play. You know how it works. You guess the hot play from the game, and our friends from Robinson give you a prize tonight. Get you qualified for the grand prize at the end of the year. A couple of indoor club seats to that finale against, who is it, Lions? Yeah, Motowners.
Scott is up first. Scott, what's your guess?
It's got to be the block punt for the touchdown.
Think so? Geronimo again?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Geronimo! You're right.
Yes!
The hot play was delivered by the special teams. Matt Wiles' first punt got the Packs first points. Yes, good call, Wayne, on the Packer Network. Let's hear from the playmakers. Geronimo Allison got the block.
Just, we schemed up some things. We seen, kind of knew what kind of attack, and it worked out well. We did what we thought they would do, and it worked out.
Worked out great. I mean, he was laid out. One arm extended. Deflected it up, and then Wild got another leg and popped up into the air. And
the man has been on fire since appearing on the fifth quarter this season.
I know. It's finally good luck rubbing off.
I don't know.
Guys used to get cut the day after they appeared on this show. It has happened.
Wait, was Daniel Carlson on this show and I missed it?
No, but anyway. Hey, the guy who caught it, rookie Josh Jackson. I like this kid, too. His first pro TD was an easy one.
The call was to, for me to come off the edge, so just trying to come make a play, and I think the dude turned out on me, and Gma was able to slip through and get a block, and the ball was up in the air and landed right in my hands.
Still got to catch it, son. Well done. Yeah, that's our hot play, and you are in.
Congrats to Scott.
Yes. Justin, last year you were starting to play a little bit, and you kind of came to a realization that you're going to have to just change a few things about how you're built, how much you weigh, how you got everything else. What happened? What triggered it? And how did you follow up on that to become a better player this year? Obviously,
I just feel like last year I was about 330 most of the year, and I just felt like I'm 6'3". I don't need to be that heavy.
Good.
So I got with our nutritionist and just worked on it during the off season and got my weight down a little bit and feel a lot better this year.
No more strawberry milkshakes?
Trying not to have. Trying.
It's all right.
Not as many as last year.
Not as many.
For sure.
How drastically did your diet change for you then?
It was just, just not eating. I was pretty much just eating whatever I wanted, and now it's just in moderation. So instead of having 3 chicken breasts at lunch, I have 1.5, and just if I get hungry later, I have like a minor snack.
All right.
Just cut back portions, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So you got the weight down. Just feel completely
Feel better. Got the weight down. Feel like I'm about at the same play strength. So that's just a lot of the weightlifting and things I did over.
Is this genetic, or did Mama McCray just shovel it in you and Jordan growing up? You both are big lads.
I have an older brother too. He was an offensive lineman as well, so
Okay.
it might be genetics.
All right.
Dad was a linebacker. My mom was a small forward. And they made 3 linemen. So
The next question I have is, you are so nice. You are so soft-spoken. But you have a tenacity. What happens when the hat goes on?
I just sort of feel like that's just a part of my game. That's what helps me win. Being aggressive, staying after guys. Just sort of our makeup, how me and my brothers grew up. Knowing that nothing was going to be like.
Is there a lot of scrapping between the two of you?
Yeah, between Jordan and I, Cliff, we didn't scrap too much. He's 5 years older, so he would definitely win.
Kick your tail.
Yeah. I don't want to lose. So.
I can understand. I can understand.
How? So with your brother Jordan, what kind of an influence was he on a daily basis for you? Just both of you driving for the same goals. Was it you fed each other? Was one of you more?
Oh, it was definitely backwards and forth. I mean, even now, like Jordan is always looking for ways to boost my confidence. So if he sees like a really good player during the game, I'll come back to my phone after games and see like 9 or 10 clips from the things that he thought were really good. And we just knowing that we pretty much have the same skill set, same sort of drive. We've always just been big confidence boosters to each other.
How can we be sure that you aren't Jordan because you guys are twins?
Who says I'm not Jordan?
See, I've been wondering that this whole time.
All right.
Was Jordan in town for the game yesterday?
Jordan was not. He was up for last game for Chicago in the last preseason game.
Is that something? Did you guys ever do that? Some of that twins switcheroo stuff in high school, middle school?
We switched classes a lot in elementary and middle school, and we ended up getting caught by a very observant teacher. And my mom put us in the same classes from then on. So
really, that's awesome.
Jordan was always next to me.
How often did you guys switch classes? Like before you got caught?
It'd probably be every day. Just
that's
it was
awesome.
sort of like when you got bored. So.
Do you ever switch with a girlfriend? If Jordan was tired of someone, you're just like, oh,
I'll
take her to the movies tonight. Then
they were usually pretty good about that. They always picked up on the little things like I got a mole right here that Jordan doesn't have. So. So
now we know.
Yeah.
So that was Jordan out there for the false start penalty. Though, yesterday,
right.
right?
Any penalties, Jordan's in the game.
That's Jordan.
Sure.
All
That's
Jordan.
All right. So, what's the emphasis you think this week? You're going to get Aaron Jones back coming off suspension. How do you think he's going to help the run game?
I think Aaron obviously is a really good back. I think the complement with him, Ty and Jamal, I think it's just going to be a very good backfield we have back.
You know what
there.
else I like too? The 3 tight end package yesterday. Finally
I'm a fan.
rolled that out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that as well.
Yeah, I bet you are. Jimmy Graham getting involved a little more. You kind of figured this might just take some time. I think the knee injury kind of derailed that a little bit, but we saw at training camp what that could become.
Yeah, Jimmy's awesome, man. His tenacity in practice and in the games is definitely something that we like here.
It'd be nice to hear from him every now and then. We haven't talked to Jimmy since he got here. So he's very good at
keeps to himself.
Keeps to himself and out of the locker room. He doesn't even come in at the 2-minute warning. You're always sitting there. You're always sitting there, but not Jimmy.
So obviously you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. You're going to be a pass-heavy offense. That's just what it is. You utilize your best tools.
Right.
But as an offensive lineman, what gets you fired up more? Pass blocking, run blocking?
I think honestly, any lineman, you like getting after the getting into it with the run game, but we know what we have here, and Aaron is a very special player, and we need to use that as much as we can.
Yeah, I would think, they say you like to get lathered up and really move the pile and this and that and just play physical, but there is a pride factor about keeping 12 clean that I don't hear a lot from other offense. I know they all speak it, but that's something here. How valuable this guy is.
Yeah, he's
to this, not only his team, but this game.
Yeah, he's one of the best players to ever play, so definitely take a lot of pride in keeping him safe.
Does he let you hear it when you guys miss a block and someone gets to him a little faster than they should have? Is he vocal with you guys in that way?
No, he's usually trying to keep guys, upbeat, confident. He'll tell us if he needs some time for something, but he's never bringing anybody down or anything like that negative.
And he takes care of you guys too.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you go to the Derby with the
No,
bunch?
no. I didn't make it this year, but a lot of the guys did.
A lot of the O-line goes to the Kentucky Derby every year. I'm sure there's big dinners.
Yeah,
he'll spring forward.
He does a lot for us.
I bet. Well, you do a lot for him. That's obvious. There's no question about it. Justin McCray is our guest. We're going to take another break. When we come back, some other odds and ends from the Packer game yesterday. Look at some of the other things that happened in the NFL, including a halftime retirement. That's a head-scratcher in Buffalo. Don't go away. Plus, we'll play the Coldplay when we come back. Fifth quarter returns to the Stadium View right after this timeout.
Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right. Poor Clay Matthews. Poor Clay Matthews. The league says, as we told you earlier, they're going to show that video to every team in the league saying this is how you should not do it, even though Mike McCarthy says he did exactly what we teach them to do. Dean Blandino and Mike Pereira, former NFL rules supervisors for the league office, are now talking heads on the networks. Dean Blandino, those aren't fouls. We don't like those as fouls. Mike Pereira, what I'm having a problem with now, even though it's a point of emphasis, is they're creating penalties for contact and tackles to me that don't put the quarterback at risk of injury. Blandino, you look at the rule and it says you can't commit intimidating or punishing acts. Can't violently or unnecessarily drive him to the ground or land at him with all or most of your body weight. That's not what you're seeing in those two calls in that game, Eric Kendricks and Clay Matthews.
Right.
What do you want the defender to do? To me, it looks like he's wrapping and he's trying to bring the quarterback to the ground. There's going to be some force. There's going to be some impetus that takes both players to the ground. Again, what do you want the defender to do? And Pereira says, I think we're setting a dangerous precedent. You can't have that as a foul. There's got to be a line drawn closer to a more violent hit.
And with the Cousins hit, one of his legs is already off the ground before Matthews starts bringing him to the ground. Cousins took himself one leg off the ground.
And I know. I've seen the slow-mo thing on Twitter all day, and he's actually airborne before the ball's released.
Now,
and Clay was not airborne either. He wasn't launching.
If you're a savvy quarterback in a big moment, why wouldn't you take yourself off the ground and make it look worse than it is to draw a call?
You might.
Why wouldn't
Dancing with the Stars.
Why wouldn't
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. Hey, Justin, we're going to get back to you in just a minute. Peek ahead to the Redskin game in your first road trip, but we got to find a cold play of the day on a very hot day. Well, let's see if we can't get a winner and get a Robinson's prize to you today and get you qualified.
Janet is up first. What's your
Janet?
guess?
It's got to be the Clay Matthews call.
No, it's
Clay
not,
Matthews
because
call?
it wasn't
No.
a penalty. It wasn't a
Yeah.
penalty. In
'Cause
my
we
opinion,
disagree
and
with
I
the
think in
refs.
the opinion of a vast majority of Americans outside of their office on Park Avenue. Right?
Right.
All right, what's your guess?
Rogers' fumble. That took him
Rogers'
out of field
fumble?
goal range.
Yeah, well, that one did. The sack did, but the fumble didn't.
Yeah.
He still had time to recover. Block it up. 20 came clean. I know. That was another
But no,
twist
that's
blitz
not it.
there,
No.
Justin. Still not there yet.
What's your guess?
The last Viking touchdown.
The what?
The last Viking touchdown.
The last Viking touchdown? No, because they still needed 2 to tie. That only made it 29-27.
Ooh.
You realize that was the first 29-29 game in NFL history? Wow. First game ever ended 29-29 in NFL history out of the tens of thousands of games. I can't believe we haven't found the cold one yet.
All right,
The
what's your
cold
guess?
one.
How about the 75-yard touchdown pass?
That hurt. That hurt. It's not on Devon House, though. Kentrell Bryce. He got
Yeah.
sucked over to the right side of the field, and he had to help out because Devon had inside leverage. Sorry, that wasn't it. And Kentrell reacted too late, and the top was off. That was a big throw. Big
Cold
catch.
play.
And speed kills. Diggs
Cold
is fast.
play.
Cold
What's your
play
guess?
of the day.
I'm going to go with the Mason Crosby missed field goal at the end.
Yeah. That's
Booyah.
it. Cold play on the hot day. A dramatic final snap of regulation.
This for the win in regulation. 29 apiece, we're tied. J.K. Scott down on one knee. Hunter Bradley, the rookie, on the snap. Arm extended. Here's the snap. Play's been made. Kick to the uprights again. And it is good!
Wayne!
No good!
What
Oh, my goodness, no good! He just missed it to the left. I thought for a moment, as the crowd exclaimed, and he just missed it to the left side. We're going to overtime.
Wayne, don't do that, Wayne.
It's because the Vikings had one extra timeout at the end of regulation.
I suppose. I don't
Could
like
have made
that.
him burn those timeouts.
I don't like that, to tell you the truth. I know it's legal, but I don't think
Sure.
you can call timeout after 2 on the clock. I mean, that ball was snapped. Nobody heard the whistle. Although I guess somebody said on the TV copy you can hear the whistle blowing, racing in.
Yeah, I mean,
on
it
icing
felt
Are you on
close,
Field Goal
but-
Pro? You are. Huh?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, all right. Did you hear a whistle?
I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think you did either. I don't like it either. But anyway, I felt badly for Mason. My goodness, he was 5 for 5, and he drilled the first walk-off. right before the Vikes call timeout.
Just just trying to execute the kick, and just was playing for a little left to right movement, and just must have just held it over there left a little too much.
Just a little too much. Shades of Dallas, remember? 51-yarder. They iced him, and Mason had ice in his veins and drilled the next one to win it. So after the Jared Cook catch. Anyway, tough one. Coldplay, congrats, you're in. All right, J-Mac, Redskins first road trip. There's a real protocol to traveling. And I know the coach goes through all the little things about how to dress, how to catch the bus, where to sit on the plane, everything. I mean, it's that broken down, isn't it?
Yeah, they pretty much have who's on what plane and
They
what
had 2
time.
planes this year.
Yep. In the preseason, it was rookies and certain staff on one plane, and then it switched. The second plane was older guys and another select staff.
There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I think it's harder to find big planes to accommodate the entire entourage now.
Especially when it's 90 guys. Especially, I think that might have been just for the preseason, but
yeah, true. But now it's 90 members of the executive committee and their wives. Just kidding. They all travel in style. Washington Redskins, FedEx Field. Have you even dipped into the Skins at all? Are off to a 1-1 start, losing badly at home yesterday.
I had planned to later tonight, but
all right, tonight, huh?
Just without seeing them, I saw a little bit of the game just because I had a buddy that plays for the Colts.
All right,
good defense. It'll definitely be a challenge for us this week as well.
Do you get cut-ups from the boys in the video room already today of Washington stuff?
Yeah, there'll be
unbelievable.
There'll be stuff on my iPad right now about Washington.
Really?
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
They're on it pretty fast.
I mean, it used to be they'd ship you a canister of film, 16 millimeter film, and it would arrive by Wednesday or Thursday. You wouldn't even get a chance to start looking at it till then. No. Now you got it in time before you go to bed tonight.
Yeah, I could have watched it today as well. Like they're on it pretty fast.
What do you watch when I see you with the tablet in your hands a lot in the locker room? What do you look for? What kinds of things are you studying on the tablet?
Mannerisms.
Really?
Just looking at the guys I feel like I'm gonna be going up against a majority of the time. Different fronts where they might be doing something different that they don't usually do. Just things that stick out more than usual.
Jerry Kramer, we talked about him, and I've talked to Jerry a lot about this, and I don't know if you've ever read Instant Replay, but you got to read it. It's a classic book. But he was talking about even like Alex Karras, if he's wiggling his fingers, he's coming inside the gap. You know, if his foot's just a shade back, he's charging around the outside. Those kinds of things he would pick up. I mean, is it that detailed?
There's a lot of guys trying to hide things like that.
Yeah.
But everybody has their certain ways. Like a guy might tighten up if he's going, tighten up his alignment if he's going inside, or he might get off levels if there's going to be a twist or something like that. It's just a lot of things you got to look for like that.
Right.
Who's a defensive lineman that sticks out for you? Who's been the toughest challenge for you so far in your career?
I feel like Sheldon, the guy we just played, Richardson, he's pretty good. Does a lot of good things well. I mean, Akeem Hicks obviously is pretty good. A lot of the guys in our division. Last year, I didn't think just playing out of position. A lot of the defensive ends I was playing against, I thought they did a really good job just because I wasn't used to playing too much tackle.
Who's the biggest trash talker in the trenches that you've come across?
Probably say Everson. He talks a lot, but he definitely backs it up.
Yeah.
Griffin yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can back it up. Yeah, he was pretty good.
What kind of trash talk is it? Is it personal stuff? Is it just?
Oh no, it's more him getting himself hyped up. Yeah,
it's not like John Randall. Remember John Randall of the Vikings?
Yeah.
He used to read bios and scream, this and that about
nothing hardly ever personal.
Yeah. No, he loved to get it personal just to get under your skin. Well, Justin, it's been an unbelievable story for you. I congratulate you on all the hard work that you have poured into this thing to earn one of 32 starting right guard jobs in the National Football League. Well-deserved. Stay after it. Stay healthy. Keep 12 healthy. And no more ties. Finish the deal, and let's keep this thing rolling. And good luck in Washington.
Got you. Thank you for having me.
Justin McCray joining us tonight live from the Stadium View. And when we come back, we'll wrap things up, send somebody to the Packer Pro Shop, and have some more great gifts to give away. Don't go away. We'll head to the finish line right after this timeout.
Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
Welcome back, everybody. Gentle Giant, Matt J. Mac, isn't he? Heck of a guy. Nice guy.
Yeah.
I really like Justin. Really proud of it. He's done a tremendous job. Weird day in the NFL, not just at Lambeau with a 29-29 all-tie, but Vontae Davis of the Buffalo Bills retired at halftime. At halftime. Told his coach, just don't have it in me anymore.
Right. He was done.
Signed a 1-year, $5 million deal, and away he goes.
If I'm not mistaken, he was inactive the first week. They needed him this week. They're getting their butts kicked 28-6. But he's coming off a really nasty injury from 2017. And I think he was hopeful his body would bounce back, but it obviously wasn't in his opinion. I know he posted a big thing on Instagram after that he tried, and the body wasn't there. It's an odd time to do it, obviously.
I understand. Finish the game. I think that's what the guys in the locker room were saying.
Yeah, but if you're out there and you're hurt and your heart's not in it, are you risking a bigger injury?
Maybe.
Are you really there for your team at that point, or shouldn't they put someone else in?
Nailed it in.
Who wants it?
Sure.
I mean, shouldn't they put someone else in who wants it?
I agree. Lions are 0 for 2. They went out to Frisco and got beat 30-27. Late rally from Matthew, not enough. Bears go against the Seahawks tonight. I'm rooting for the Bears, to tell you the truth.
They got a chance to beat that Seahawks team for sure.
Seattle got to go down. Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City, 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks. Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Buccaneers, the undefeated Buccaneers.
In Kansas City, there's been rumblings, before they got rid of Alex Smith that, hey, Mahomes. I mean, he was drafted last year.
Yeah, I know.
And he's proving, thank you for all the support, KC fans.
We're going to see Alex Smith now in Washington. Yeah. We're going to see Adrian Peterson now in Washington come Sunday.
There's guys that run offenses. There's guys that are difference makers. Alex Smith is a guy that will run your offense. He's not a difference maker.
And I don't know if Adrian is either anymore. What did he have yesterday? 20 yards on the ground on 14 carries? Yikes. Yeah. They were held out of the end zone by the Indy Colts. New kickoff in D.C. I'll be out in the nation's capital. I have complete coverage Monday, and we're back next Monday night. Who's going to the Packer Pro Shop? Do we got time to get out
we got to do it.
Let's get this out. I'll be back from D.C. Monday, United Airlines willing, and we'll have another Packer guest right here at the Stadium View. But for now, who's going to the Packer Pro Shop for friends at Robinson's?
Gene Arndt.
Gene, you got the gift card tonight. Congratulations.
It says you aren't, but you are.
You are. You're a winner. We got more to give away. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.